Hello YouTubers, Mr. McRaven here. Welcome to my video, and today we're going to be taking a quick user review look at the Cyborg R.A.T. gaming mouse from Mad Catz, which is Cyborg's gaming division. It's the white version. There is a black version available, and I think there might even be a red version available as well in the UK from Curry's PC World, something like that. I think there might be a red version of this. I'm not entirely sure, but I know there is a black version, and of course there is the white version, which I have here. I already have the mouse unboxed, and before we take a look at the actual product itself, we're going to look at some of the features that it has. We're going to take a look at the box. There's not so much for the contents because there's not really much besides the mouse itself. And then we're going to switch over to the screen and take a look at the software and how easy that is to use. So as we can see, it is the white version of the mouse. I have been fortunate enough to have a R.A.T. 5 in the past, so I have some experience with this mouse as far as shape, comfort and usability, so I have some idea of what it's going to be like. So looking at the box, we can see that it has up to 3500 DPI, gaming grade optical sensor, which is pretty high. It's good enough sensitivity for pretty much any gamer in any kind of games that you're using. If you really like high sensitivity and you want higher than that, then the R.A.T. 5 goes up to 5600 DPI, which was a bit too much for me, but some of you might be out there using that kind of sensitivity, but this mouse should have it covered for pretty much most users. So we have a Cyborg R.A.T. picture on the side of the box there, and some of the features listed on the back of the box. 9 user-definable commands via 3 programmable buttons and 3 position mode switch. 4 user-definable DPI settings. And remap programmable buttons and create custom macros with powerful ST software. So it shows you there that there's 3 LED colors for each mode. There's the sensor on the bottom and the layout of the mouse. And on the side of the box, we have 3500 DPI. DPI range 450, 900, 1800 and 3500 DPI. So there's several different settings there for different types of game. You could switch it down to the lower DPI if you're sniping, and you can set it up high if you're in certain vehicles like helicopters or jets. Polling rate is dynamic up to 1000 Hertz, so that automatically adjusts, which is good. You don't need to worry about that. Tracking speed 1.5 meters per second, always on, and it has slick PTFE feet. In other words, it has Teflon feet. A gold-plated connector, which is USB, of course, and braided cable, yes, and the LED colors for the programmable mode button. So that pretty much lists features. It is a very basic gaming mouse, and to be honest, I think it has all the features you really need from a gaming mouse, unless you do MMO like Warcraft kind of games where you need a lot more buttons for spells and stuff like that. So they do another mouse for those of you that do play World of Warcraft and similar games and you require lots of buttons. They do a version with loads of buttons all over the damn thing. It's orange black, looks rather funky, but is a lot more costly than this. This was picked up here in the UK for £34. I don't know what that converts to in dollars, but it's about £34. It's quite cheap and cheerful. So anything here on the bottom of interest? No, not really. Okay, so that's the box. I'm not going to go into the contents because there really wasn't much of the contents, but what I will show you, which I thought was quite good, if we open this box up here with one hand, is, put that down, is the mouse comes in this nice custom foam little seat, if you like. I thought that was quite nice. So it keeps it well protected when it's in the box, which is nice to see. So it's got some good packaging there. Packaging might not be all that important, but to me I think it's a nice touch that they've included some decent packaging. And not only there, but it actually has foam padding on the box top as well, which is quite a nice thought, I thought. So there we go. Put that box together. I've broken the box already. Oops, never mind. Okay. So moving on to the mouse itself. Before we take a look at the body construction and all the features, it does come with this braided cable. If I can move in, focus on this. There we go. So you can see it's like a white paracord Those of you who mod stuff with your PC, you'll understand this paracord is the same kind of stuff you use to sleeve power supplies and other kinds of cables. So that's quite nice. And at the USB end, it is a gold-plated connector at the USB, but it also has this little Velcro strap, so you can wrap up the cord and keep it all neat and tidy and in line with this this little tab, which is quite nice. The cord is also white to match the mouse itself. I've gone with the white one because I wanted to try something different. I've owned a couple of white cases, but I thought I'd own a white mouse instead. So you have the little Mad Catz logo on the back, R.A.T here, and on this button, don't know if it'll focus in. Eventually it'll focus in. Rapid fire. I don't know if that switch on this side is any better than the one on the other side. I don't entirely know. But looking at the construction of the mouse, we can see from the underneath it has a metal chassis with the Teflon feet surrounding all the vital points, so it's well balanced. And we can see the sensor there, 3500 DPI sensor, precision gaming laser. So it has a metal chassis which keeps it nice and rigid. It is quite lightweight, but not overly so. I think it's fairly well weighted. Some of you might prefer a heavier mouse, and if that's the case, then the R.A.T 5 is probably for you because it has adjustable weights in the base on the R.A.T 5. You have this plastic piece here, which is kind of like a thumb rest, where your two programmable buttons come into play here. You have, of course, the right switch and left switch. This one here, this little rocker here, is the DPI, so you can adjust that up and down. And here, hiding on the side, is the mode switch. If we click this, it changes color depending on the mode, so you can have 3 different game profiles and you can switch them on the fly. Or you can have 3 profiles for one single game and change it per kit. I don't know, Battlefield 3, depending if you're an engineer, you might want to use certain different modes. It's really up to you. So we have a little LED here on the side. If we adjust the DPI, it tells you which DPI mode it's in. So it's adjustable on the fly. You can set that. Really quite easy. This is kind of, I'm a palm grip kind of person, so I like to grip the mouse like that with my wrist resting and move the mouse like so. I'm not sure how comfortable it would be if you're a claw gripper, but if you're a palm gripping kind of person, you grip your mouse kind of like this here, then it should be quite comfortable. I know it looks like it's going to rip your hand off. It's that kind of design. It's very edgy design, but it won't, and it's actually quite comfortable to use. So, like I say, in most games the sensitivity switch is really easy to reach. When you're in Battlefield 3 and you're going from infantry to vehicle, you can switch really quite quickly. And the programmable buttons here come in quite handy. You can switch to pistol and med kit, for example, in Battlefield 3 with these 2 buttons. So it's really quick and really easy. I use this normally with a mouse mat, a Razer Goliathus extended edition mouse mat, and it works quite well on there. But it likes hard surfaces just as easily as well. The weight of the mouse and the slide of the mouse is really easy going, and it is very accurate. It feels very precise when using it in games. I've used it in a few games, and it does feel very accurate indeed. It's not tiresome to use. It's quite easy and quite a joy to use. One of the cons I can say about the mouse is the fact that the plastic itself is glossy. I don't see if you can see the reflection here in the plastic, but the plastic is glossy. And when you initially get it out, it seems sticky, like there's a coating on the plastic because it's new. But it seems sticky to the touch, and I'm hoping it'll wear off as time goes by through use. But it doesn't seem as bad now as it was when I first started to use it. But it is something to be aware of, that this glossy plastic feel, which I've never used before. So do bear that in mind, that this glossy plastic can be a bit funny. And if you do have hot, sweaty hands, which can happen during the summertime, it can get a little bit slippery. I've yet to have a problem with it, but I am saying it could be a con. It could be something to bear in mind when buying this mouse, that it does come with this glossy finish. The black one has a glossy finish as well. I'm not sure if they got a matte version, matte coat version of this mouse. I think they might be all glossy, but it is one thing to bear in mind. So that's pretty much the construction of the mouse. It is kind of unique in shape and design, but it is perfectly comfortable, perfectly fluid to use movement-wise. It works on soft cloth mats and hard surfaces alike. So what we're going to do now, we're going to switch over to the screen and we're going to take a look at the software. Because like I said, software doesn't come with a driver disk. You have to download the drivers and disk manually from the website. So that's what we're going to go and take a look at now and go through some of the features of the mouse there.
Hello there folks, welcome back, and now we're going to take a look at the software for the R.A.T 3 gaming mouse from Cyborg. You can download this software from the Cyborg website. You can download the drivers and the software individually. They don't come in a single package. You can download them individually, which is quite nice if you don't actually want to use the software. But why wouldn't you? It's perfectly good software. So we're going to take a look at this software. We're going to look at the settings, and it says here for the adjustments for DPI, the sensitivity settings. It comes with 4 modes already at default, so 450, 900, 1800 and 3500, and these will be satisfying enough for most people. They cover most of the range, but you can actually adjust them in between these modes if you wish to, and you can set a different sensitivity to each mode switch if you wish. But I'm going to leave that at default because it works perfectly well for me. So this little rocker switch here will control the level of sensitivity, and there's a little LED light that increases depending on which sensitivity you select. So that's fairly straightforward and simple. Moving on to the programming, you can see there are 3 modes that you can select, and each mode has a colour. So we start with red, blue and purple, and this is adjustable via this little button here to the left of the forefinger. And with each mode you can select how each of these 2 buttons functions, and that's really easy to do. You just click on here, click in there, you can select a key. So let's say number 1 to control the number 1 weapon in a first person shooter game. We click OK, and we can call it whatever we like, say it's a pistol, and then that button's assigned to the pistol. We can go down here and we can select number 4 and say medpack. If I could spell it correctly, that'll help. Medpack. So we've got number 1, number 4, and we can test that out before we assign it. So 1, 2, and there you go. You can see that it's working perfectly well. Clear that. Okay. So that's how simple it is to assign keyboard buttons to these buttons here on the mouse. You can of course adjust it other ways as well. If you click in here and right click, you can delete all, start again, right click again, and you can insert here, or you can insert a hotkey. So you can control media, volume, you can launch applications, and you can control those applications if you wish as well. So there's some good functionality with this mouse. It's really easy to use, really easy to set up, and the software I've had no problems with using. It doesn't interfere with anything, and I've never had it crash either on this mouse or the R.A.T 5, which I previously owned. So no issues there, but you can select 3 different modes for the 3 different games, and you can use these on the fly by selecting that button, and you can activate each profile by clicking here. For example, as you can see, activate that, save. So we select no because I want to keep that profile. And it's as simple as that. If you want to go to their website, they do have some game profiles that are ready to use. You don't have to do that if you feel that you can just program them in. It's fairly simple to do. So you just program your buttons, select which mode you want, and click Save As, and then save it with a name. And of course you can test each profile out before you finish. So there we go. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple, good, easy to use software with a good, easy to use mouse. To draw a conclusion, I can highly recommend this mouse. It's great in first-person shooter games. It feels very accurate. The buttons have very defined clicks, which is quite nice. The scroll wheel is not too stiff and it's not too light. It has a good click with each turn. The sensitivity on the fly adjustment with this button here is really easy to use, and it has a visual representation to show you which sensitivity you're on, which is good as well. The program button here, you can flick between different modes really quickly and easily. You don't need to go into the software, which is quite nice, and it has different color LEDs so you know by a glance what mode you're using. And these two side buttons here are perfectly within reach, and you can manipulate these to do whatever you want them to do, which is nice as well. And this little thumb rest here, I've really liked on the R.A.T series mice. I think it's a really good addition compared to other mice. So yeah, I like that section there. Overall, the design of the mouse is very different, but despite its looks, it is quite comfortable. I'm a palm grip kind of person, and I find it very comfortable. I can't talk for claw grip people, so couldn't say if it'll work for you, but if you're a palm grip person, then you should find this mouse reasonably comfortable. The only bad point I can really say is that the gloss finish does tend to be a little bit tacky, and if you have sweaty hands, then it might cause you issues. But other than that, it's tolerable. It's something that I haven't used before, but it is something that's tolerable. To me at least, but it is something to be aware of, that this gloss finish can be a bit tacky and sticky at times, which probably means just cleaning the mouse a lot more often than usual. So that's my thoughts and my review on the R.A.T 3 gaming mouse. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the box below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Hope this has proved helpful, but I'm going to say bye bye for now until the next time. So take care, and see you soon.